Hola, friends. Hola, amigos. Hola, everybody. I am live streaming horizontally this morning, which is also how I slept last night. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not. It is a frigid cold Tuesday morning, Tuesday the 9th. And I'm starting the day with a bonus, half an Adderall, which is nice. Didn't expect that. For those about to rock, actually, we salute you, according to ACDC. But, could be whatever you're about to do, really. For those about to eat breakfast, wash your hands. For those about to have some coffee, put in some powdered creamer. There's a lot of possible answers to this question. The key thing is it begins with for those about to, with a word, and then a command or an observation, one of the two. So, this morning's live stream is going to be less than highly exciting, probably. It's also going to be a relatively short stream. I do have a vision. I have a vision this morning. My vision is I'll live stream for a while, drink some coffee, smoke a couple cigarettes, but here's the big catch 22 or whatever. I don't have very many cigarettes left. I have some butts. I have like one full cigarette left. Yeah, but hairdressers always cut too much of it. Maybe you should cut it yourself. Have you heard about these things they have called scissors? Basically like two knives that are next to each other that have like a hinge. Okay, is this your way of trying to ask me to cut your hair? Is that what you're really getting at here? You're trying to drop hints that you'd like me to cut your hair? That's understandable. I'm known as one of history's greatest hairdressers. But I'm more of a hairdresser than a hair cutter, KE. So if you want to get me to work on your hair, you're gonna have to put it entirely in my hands. Whatever haircut I give you is the right haircut for you. And I'm not gonna give you any heads up about what haircut that might be. And that's fair of me. Well, KE, just because I don't have hair doesn't mean I'm not the world's foremost expert in cutting hair. Look at my beard. You think this kind of classy, even cut happens by itself? No. Well, I know. And I get it, Kay. I'm expensive, okay? As the world's foremost hairstylist, I charge $1,000 a haircut. That's normally true. Show me your hairs don't want to be cut. They cry silently with every snip and snap. That's in the hands of a regular hairdresser, not in my hands, right? hairs will literally jump off your head in an urgency to be cut by me. Well, I mean, my typings are cheap. My typings are woefully underpriced. But my hair cuttings are actually an incredibly good deal at $1,000. Because you can only get your hair cut by the world's greatest hair cutter if you're lucky, you know, if I'm willing to take you on as a client. You know that before I cut Britney Spears' hair back when she was like 17 or whatever, she was in line at the unemployment office. Then I cut her hair, and she had multiple hits after that. Coincidence? I don't think so. How do you think Trump got elected? I can tell you, it was his haircut. Who gave it to him? Me. KE gives amazing scalp massages. Well, I would point out that your scalp doesn't really have a lot of muscles that need to be massaged. Anyway, yesterday I couldn't get out of the driveway. I tried and tried, but all the snow and ice prevented me from getting out. Meanwhile, Acacia and Ruben were able to get their car out just fine. So, I'm thinking I may have read the situation wrong when I said to myself, "Hey Eric, why don't you wait till it's a little more slushy to try to get out?" But it never really warmed up very much yesterday, so I might be better served to try to get out when it's super frozen like now. Regardless, if I can't get out of the driveway again, I keep sliding back down the hill, then I will have to put on my chains just to drive to the road, just from the driveway to the road, and then take them off again. Which will be a pain in the butt, but we need to go to the store today because we're getting a fairly sizable snowfall tomorrow. Another proof of why Eric's typings are overpriced. My typings are definitely not overpriced. For the simple reason that if I had them priced cheaper, presumably I'd have more typing sessions to do. It's like most of the work I do, if anything qualifies at all as work, is dramatically underpriced because I don't really want to do it. I've noticed people, including some of you, talk a lot about what you should do or need to do, but it seems like few people actually do just talk. I mean, I do the things I say I need to do. Like, I am definitely going to the store today, hell or high water, because there's a time sensitivity to it. I know that dog across the street's really loud. The thing is, it's loud right now Because why? The dad's gone off to work. The mom's taking the kids to school right now. So there's nobody home. That dog barks when there's nobody home. I don't think here Lamb's projecting. I think he's making a perfectly good observation. Around here, it certainly is the case that certainly me, that I talk a lot more about what I need to do or should do than I actually do. That wolf reminded me of some online drama recently. Who did you have drama with, okay? Bob Mackey. He's known for being very dramatic. You know, Bob Mackey designed one of history's worst awards show outfits. Oh, you just witnessed it. Who did you witness it between? Was I involved? I hope so. I love being involved in drama. That's why I'm always practicing dramatic monologues. Oh, the dog across the street. Why barketh thee so? Sounds like Rachel's going to have to get up and close her windows. I'm sorry I woke you up this morning, darling. Kylie Jenner beef at the Golden Globes. You were too invested in the new Selena Gomez. I don't like what she did with her face. She looked cuter before. She made her face more pointy or something. Why? She had a nice, cute, pudgy face before. I don't think either of us checked the mailbox yesterday. I don't know how big this board game is, but it seems to me like a board game wouldn't fit in the mailbox. Don't just have drama, do drama. You know, we both slept a good night's sleep last night, Rachel. And if you feel like getting up on the earlier side and taking the other half or take the other half of that, then we can motivate on the earlier side. But I'm not in any urgent rush or anything. I have sufficient cigarette butts to last a couple of hours. I mean, we have a regular sized mailbox, maybe a little bigger than normal, but not big enough to fit a board game in there. And the other thing is, when the mailman puts stuff in the mailbox, they can't like reach all the way into the mailbox. It's got like it's got like this where you have to slide it in between the things. So I seriously doubt there's like a board game in the mailbox, but I will go look when I get up to the street. You and Kay are both actually my neighbors? Well, can you tell your dog to shut up then? Now, I did poop a little bit this morning. Well, you know what? I bet Kay doesn't even realize that's what's happening. Show media is Kay thinks she's massaging her mom's scalp. You just slide in there, push your mom out of the way, and put her mom back before she's done. And Kay's none the wiser. So I definitely am guilty of what Hero M says for sure. I am much more a talker than a doer. But the thing is, that's how I do things also in part is I talk about all possible things that I might do, and then I do one of them maybe. It's called being crippled by one's intuition. I mean, it's not like I hate typing people as work. As work goes, you know, it's pretty good work. But oh, cold hard cash, huh? Cold hard cash is pretty good. I got a wallet full of cash right now because I won money at the casino the other night. Well, here, Lamb, I don't blame you for being annoyed by people in your life doing that, but around here it shouldn't come as any surprise. I have a long history of talking about things I should do or might do but don't do. So this is just standard operating procedure for me. Well, the casino I went to this time was called Chicken Ranch Casino. I went fishing the other day, and where I where I fished wasn't very far from this casino called Chicken Ranch Casino. So I decided to go there after the fishing, and I won $714. I mean, I was 714 up, you know. So that was pretty cool. I I've had good luck in the casinos around here. I don't go very often, but when I do go, I don't know. I mostly won. Um, I won playing a game called Four Card Poker. This is a table game, you know. I I like is it Indian owned? No, actually I mean maybe it must be because they had slot machines and stuff in there, but I didn't see any tribal shit, you know? Like at the Chemansky Gold casino that I have gone to before, they have it's obviously an Indian casino, right? They have parking up front for tribal elders. They've got uh, a tribal weed store next door to it. It's very Indian casino. But this Chicken Ranch casino, it might have been an Indian casino, but it was like it was a small casino, and um, it was like at the top of this road that just had like houses alongside of it. Like it has just how regular housing all around it. It's in Stanislaus County. So like I said, I've never been there before, but but I had a good time. And you know, my normal policy on gambling is once I'm up double my money, then I'll leave if I get to that spot. So I started with 400. I figured when I got to 800, I'd leave. But then somewhere in the process, I had put $200 chips in my pocket. So, and then I was over what I thought was double my money. Like I was at like what I thought was 514 profit. Then I realized I had $200 chips in my pocket. So I actually profited $714. Is it cold? Yes, it's cold. It's currently 32 degrees outside. Right. Well, that's the grift. Well, that's the legal fiction, right? Um, because if in fact Native Americans were owning casinos because of their tribal sovereignty, they wouldn't have needed a proposition on a California state ballot to approve it. So that's where the bullshit is. It's not because of tribal sovereignty, it's because they've been afforded special privileges. But there are card rooms throughout California that are not tribal, that don't qualify as casinos, that are card rooms. They can have both table games and poker. They just can't have slot machines. In this particular instance, they had slot machines, so I guess it must have been an Indian casino. Buying lottery tickets is gambling too? Yes. Buying lottery tickets is a very bad form of gambling. You have very poor odds when you gamble with the lotto. The thing about gambling table games at a casino is there's really two possibilities. You'll either I don't think Diamond thinks you're a girl. Diamond is referring to magic girls. Magical girls are anime characters, a certain kind of anime character. Um, so the thing is, if you go to a casino and you play a table game, let's say you take out $400 to start. You start by playing one table game. Let's say you go down 100. You move to a different one. You lose your other 100. Now you got 200 left. You go to a different one. Hopefully, then at that point, maybe you go up a couple hundred, and now you're break even again. And you get up, you go outside, smoke a cigarette, then you try again. There's a decent chance that if you do it smart like that, at some point you'll get up $400, and then you just walk away. That's the thing that I seem to be able to do that other people can't do for whatever reason. When I get to my goal amount up, I leave. But some people have better capacity of dealing with certain vices than other vices. I'm not a bad gambler at all. That doesn't mean that if you were to look at my life's history of gambling, that I'm ahead. I have no idea. I don't keep that much track of it. I'm sure I'd be behind because of poker. I almost always lose at poker. Because poker is much more a game of skill than a game of, well, I mean, it's at least as much a game of skill as it is of luck. So, I'm not very good at it. The table games are really games that are testing your relationship with money more than anything else. Like, can you remember the value of money as you're gambling with chips instead of actual dollars? I'll tell you a secret, KE. The best thing for your hair is man seed. What you want to do is participate in a bukkake, except instead of coming on your face, they just all come on your hair. And you just rub that all around, let it dry, okay? You are going to be so amazed with the body and sheen that your hair has. I'm not sexualizing you. I'm just explaining a good way to get all that hair improving man seed on your hair. I mean, sure, you could go down to the sperm bank and try to buy it by the gallon or something. But, you don't have to view it as a sexual experience at all. You're just viewing it as men of service, Men of service who care about your hair. Men being of service. Just like an Alcoholics Anonymous. Well, I've never tried it myself, Diamond. I imagineered this, okay? Probably, yeah. In all seriousness, KE, I almost certainly would have made the same exact joke. The only reason that joke is very unlikely to be made to a man is that very few men complain about their hair. If you've not heard me make equivalent jokes to men, you've not been listening, KE. You have not been listening. I never complain about being bald. I may make an occasional joke about it, but I don't give a fuck. You think I care how much body and sheen my hair has? I could not fucking care less. I don't even bother getting my teeth fixed. It's not because I can't afford it. The point is, I'm not looking for any solution, right? The joke I made requires you to be looking for a solution. If you think that I'm in the sort who habituated to, or you got any reason to concern yourself with me sexualizing women around here, wow, you may be commenting on your general experience in life. And I'm sure that's fine and accurate. But you sure as fuck aren't commenting on me. I have mastered the art of professional asexuality. So much so that I can even suggest to Kay that she has men provide service by bukkakeing all over her hair, and it's not even remotely sexual. That's called a true black belt in androgyny. Please keep coming on my hair, keep coming on my hair. Enough for that. Like, if you were around for Christmas, you probably heard me make a lot of jokes about Santa coming down my chimney. Of course, Santa comes all over the place. He comes to town, he comes down my chimney, he comes on my rooftop. He comes every time he has a sip of hot cocoa. I was disappointed to see yesterday while watching the national championship game that they still have a Santa commercial that's playing. It's the middle of January, for fuck's sake. Enough with the Santa commercials already. KE, if this live stream successfully makes me poop, and I credit you for helping me poop, does that count as sexualizing you? I mean, KE, I don't even know if you're a woman. I mean, I don't. Okay, my position on lying is actually that it's not immoral to lie. It's just incredibly ill-advised. It's always the wrong strategy. The reason I concluded it's not actually immoral to lie is because nobody has a reasonable expectation to the truth. You know? So, there are certain kinds of lies that would qualify as subject to moral calculus, like calls to action. So, if I'm telling you something factually false, intended to incite you to a certain course of action predicated on that information, then that lie would qualify as wicked or evil. The other reason you can, another way of putting why you can't say that all lying is inherently evil, is because nobody has any reasonable expectation to anything regarding your subjective data. And if you're reporting on your subjective data, there's no way to verify or falsify whether that report on subjective data is honest, accurate, truthful, or whatever. So accordingly, you can have your rights violated without you knowing it, but you can't have your rights violated in a way that it's impossible for you to find out. Because, even hypothetically, right? So, because the only way of determining what someone's subjective data is by self-reporting, there's no alternate means of validating it. And accordingly, it can't therefore be inherently wicked to lie about subjective data. And since it can't be inherently wicked to lie about subjective data, then it can't be inherently wicked to lie as a general rule. Now, what I would say about lying, though, is it's always a bad idea. It's always a bad strategy. There might be, well, almost always. The exceptions are when someone's trying to unjustly exercise authority over you, or exercise authority in an unjust fashion. So, like, you get pulled over for speeding or something. The cop says, "Do you have any cocaine with you?" And you do in your pocket. The correct answer is no, I don't. It's not, I'm not answering your question. That's going to get your ass searched. And since there's no just authority for this individual to police what you have on you, then it's absolutely appropriate to lie in those contexts. But, you know, in 99.999% of situations, it's a bad strategy to lie. First of all, if you have to lie to get what you want in some way, then you probably shouldn't want it. It's the same thing with politics, right? Like, if you can't use words correctly to convince people that what you want is a good idea, if you can't win the arguments legitimately, then what you want is a bad idea. It's not what we should do at all. If it were what we should do, it would win the arguments. Same thing with lying, you know? It's always better to tell the truth because you almost always, if you feel a need to lie about something, then you should have taken a different course, should be planning to take a different course, or just should at least be accounting for long-term communicative concerns. The thing about lying is then you have to remember your lies, because other people will. And other people will remember your wickednesses too, even if you didn't do anything. Like Corey brought up to me last time I saw him how Candace had one time like kept a bunch of extra money given to her by some parents from a cheerleading team, rather than issuing appropriate refunds of money that she didn't spend or something like that. In other words, embezzling, basically. And that I had, at the time, for whatever reason, celebrated her cleverness. I don't remember this exactly, but I don't disagree with Corey's. I don't doubt that what he's saying is accurate. But that's not something I would ever celebrate or tolerate or in any way be okay with now. But, you know, I guess I validated it as okay back in the day, however many years ago that was, 20 years ago or whatever. But he hasn't forgotten it. Language matters a lot, right? What you say and what you do are two sides of the same coin. People will hold you accountable for both. I mean, look at Eminem, right? There's this occasion, I don't remember when it was exactly, when some recordings he had made as like a 13-year-old, some racist raps he had made. And it came out and caused a big furor, you know? But of course, the other important thing to note is that it matters what the reality of the communication was, too. So it's like Eminem got busted for something he wrote when he was 13 years old because it was clear cut that's what it was, right? It was racist. It was, you know, demonstrative of a 13-year-old's intellect. Right. Eric, like when women say, does this dress make me look fat? Always say no. I agree. That's one of those areas where sometimes you have to lie. It's also one of those areas where you have to watch what kind of questions you ask. You don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to, you know? Like, if you're a dude, don't ask your girlfriend or wife, like, did you have better sex with some previous partner than you do with me? Don't ask that question, you know? Because what you want is a very specific answer. And if you get the other answer, you're just going to get hurt feelings. So, really, what you're doing is telling your wife to lie to you. And if she's a good wife, she will. But you shouldn't have ever asked that question in the first place, right? I've never asked such a question. And avoid anything of that along any kinds of that kind of question. I don't worry about whether this makes me look fat, so I don't have to ask that question. Everything makes me look just the same as I always look. I don't think different clothes make you look meow meow anyway. And it's like, so when I lie and tell my friend that a dry ass chicken is good, I'm deceiving her. But I'm not being a bad person for doing so. Well, that would be an example that of just prioritizing people's emotional well-being over facts that don't matter, right? And so that's why I'm saying lying is not inherently wicked. But in most circumstances, it's the wiser course of action. The consequences for getting caught lying are too big in every circumstance almost, you know? Because if you get caught lying or just generally not being truthful, like Club ENTP came around here lots of times positioning himself as different make-believe people and stuff. Well, I get that that's a little bit different than lying, playing a character or whatever, but it still fundamentally undermined his credibility with everybody, unavoidably. Like, okay, yeah, that was explicitly what he said he was doing when questioned about it. He's like, I'm like, that horrible, horrible guy, something Hyde, I think his name is, who likes to do non-consensual art projects with other people, like non-consensually involve other people in his ridiculous art projects. I don't approve of that behavior. It doesn't quite constitute lying, but it involves a kind of lying inherently. The point is, if you're dealing with that guy and he's trying to be serious and say, no, I'm not playing any character right now, well, that's his standard MO is to say that, even when he is playing a character. Why would anybody believe him at all about anything? Because you can never know if you're dealing with the actual person or just another character he's playing. And of course, his characters were easy to tell it was him because they all have the same failures of punctuation, capitalization, and other basic writing things. Because he's communicatively kind of handicapped. He's he's not capable of playing different characters and changing the way that they talk from each other. He can just articulate different make believe backgrounds and stuff, but he can't hide that they all talk. They all have the same kind of communicative limits. I asked a question in some random typology stream and got accused of projecting my experience of relying on logic. I mean, you were projecting your experience of relying on logic. The problem was they weren't. That's where it gets down to this basic, simple question, which is this. What should we do to validate or falsify typological questions? If you have to deal with each individual person based first on the question of if they believe there are right or wrong answers in typology. If they believe there are right or wrong answers, or if they believe that it's just all interpretive like astrology, that or tarot. You might have a preferable tarot reader, but there's no definitive right or wrong answers regarding tarot. Discord's horrible here, Lamb. That did not surprise me you had that horrible experience on Discord. I don't know what those people think they're trying to accomplish. Like, just everybody making a bunch of unsubstantiated claims and it's just what a miserable clusterfuck of yeah that is. Discord is an FBI honeypot. Hmm. How many sexual jokes does it take to screw in a light bulb? Question: is that a sexual joke? Well, you're right, Boba Fett, that um, if I wanted to be very certain about a person's type, I'd schedule a set of 3 or 4 hour long sessions, um, building on what I previously thought, starting fresh. I get similar responses from different approaches, etc. Uh, but I think the most important thing to remember, Boba Fett, is that we compare against alternatives, not the ideal. So, in this instance, what we have is the way I type people with 1 hour, vastly superior to anybody else's approach, um, even though it's not perfect. Well, maybe he was gay. Maybe he wasn't trying to play gay. Maybe he was just trying to hit on me. But if he persisted in that after you made clear you weren't interested, then that's just being kind of rude. Yeah, well, I'm not a Discord person either. Then it at least its name doesn't lie. You haven't seen anyone else's typing sessions? Well, I don't know if I've watched a lot of other people's typing sessions either. What I what I have done a lot of is listen to other people tell me about other typing sessions they've had, and I've asked plenty of questions about it, like, um, well, did they ask you about this? They're doing a terrible job. Yeah, even around here, I don't know what the exact stats are, but I would say a majority don't publish. Alaska, I typed didn't publish. Which is fine. When people don't publish, then it doesn't result in more typing sessions. Since I'm fairly lazy, fairly to very, somewhere in between fairly and very lazy, uh, I don't view that as a problem. I view that as a happy occasion. Typing sessions I've seen had non-existent negation criteria ad absurdum. You could tailor your experience resume to fit any type you claim to be. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like, probably I would guess most typologists don't want to let that happen because it results in more business. I definitely don't want that to happen. The one thing I can do in my typing sessions for sure, almost always, is definitively eliminate certain things. I mean, that's a very INFJ thing to say, Boba Fett. people who are FI-NI, let's say, you know, SFPs and NTJs, they have a different relationship with the label than NITI does. A fundamentally different relationship. They see labels as they see it all through this whole goal solution. Goal achievement problem solution frame that that turns the typing session into something different. I'm about to go to a Chinese buffet. Is this dream for me? Um, I reject your racism, Sean Ryan Barron. I reject it. Okay. I was thinking the other day about how I was a little annoyed at Hair Lamb. Hair Lamb, I refuse to respect your race. I also refuse to respect my race or anybody else's race. I don't believe in race. Race is nonsense. That's interesting. Could I elaborate on that more? Well, I'm just saying, like, let's talk about an ESFP, for example. They're using as a tool function clarity about what's important to them. And when you're talking about typology, you're talking about what's important to you about you then. So when even approaching that question, they're approaching it with like, well, it's important to me that I'm creative. It's important to me that I'm smart. It's important to me that it's like if you were to ask somebody who's considering becoming a person, right? Like, I think I might be a soul born into a body suit. Which attributes do I want to have? And you don't know yourself at all because you haven't existed yet. If we're imagining this this scenario, it would be easy for even an objective person like me to understand that, okay, well, I'm choosing what I would want in a vacuum. Well, imagine if I'm asking them questions about how they are hearing the question, what do you want to be? If you imagine it like that, then it becomes a little easier maybe to understand how different their perspective is. They're using a map for a different purpose. They're accustomed to maps being aspirational goal things, right? Maps being ways to solve problems or ways to attain goals. So then I'm saying this map is going to describe you as you are, unrelated to any goals or problems, unrelated to any aspirations. That runs afoul of FI tools' fundamental ways. Now, if FI tool is paired with the communicative intuition function in E, then they're much more a split person, right? They still have that very subjective tool function, but they're also ideating in a world of ideas and accustomed to and expecting certain kinds of ideational pushback, right? In contrast, SEFI is most likely to try to do things to make their FI correct. Like, well, you say I'm not an EHP, then I will practice doing these kind of test questions until I can get them right. That'll prove I'm an ENTP, right? I'm not describing MBTI like a D&D class. I'm doing the exact opposite of that. I'm explaining how one's perspective towards given questions are framed by both the judging functions and then in conjunction or in balancing out against either communicative or non-communicative action function. Oh, it said FE man. You mean it said FE man. And you thought it was a typology thing, but it's actually Iron Man. That's cool. Thank you for sharing that. I also one time saw NI-SI apartments in LA somewhere. It's cool, Michelle. I figured it out. I figured it out. Cause I'm a super good figurer out of figuring out things. You know what's crazy as hell is my ex-girlfriend Kim. I thought she was an ESFJ at first. And when I first saw her car, it said KIM KIMESFJ. Kimmy's FJ. KIMESFJ. Kimmy's FJ. Because she had an FJ Cruiser. But to me, it looked like it said Kim ESFJ. Clear as day is what it said, right? Kim ESFJ. I was like, oh my God. Not only is this woman an ESFJ, she knows she's an ESFJ, and she made her license plate say Kim ESFJ. How crazy. Then she explained to me, no, it says Kimmy's FJ. And it turned out, of course, she was an ISFJ anyway, so. Sometimes trippy shit like that happens, you know? And that's one of those areas where it's a good example of NI. NI being the appropriate thing to use in that instance, and the inevitable one. It's a good example of like what you call machine code level NI, the kind of level of NI that everybody has, so that if a license plate says GR8CAR, everybody can read that as great car. You know, nobody's gonna be like GR8, what? No, people are going to be able to intuit something as simple as that, right? People are going to be able to intuit something as simple as Kim ESFJ. Oh, that lady's an ESFJ. Her name's Kim. And it's a great example of how NI is sometimes wildly, understandably, but wildly wrong. In actuality, her license plate said Kimmy's FJ because it was an FJ Cruiser. So that's why, that's why we have more than just intuition as a way of knowing things. We've got experience, in this case, talking to the woman and discovering that it did not say Kimmy SFJ, but that she intended it to say Kimmy's FJ. We have extroverted intuition to help us be correct. If my extroverted intuition had been ultra robust, I might have said, well, hold on, this car is an FJ. That could say something related to that. Maybe it's not MBTI stuff. That would be extroverted intuition's contribution to be something being correct. Could be introverted thinking, which would just say, well, that's one possible interpretation of it, but we'd have to talk to her to be sure. That's just withholding judgment until you have the necessary piece of information that gives you absolute certainty on what that license plate is intended to say. Since you can talk to the person who made the plate, you can determine that question determinedly. And I think that's a great example to use to teach people about both cognitive functions and, I guess, epistemologics, So we can do that really for every kind of question. We can break down whether what we're saying about it represents our intuition, our skepticism, our creativity, our experience. Those are both intuition functions. That set of things comprises both intuition functions, both knowledge functions, and the universal parsing function. You could additionally talk about how much a given thing links to a person's identity. That's really FI, right? That's another way of talking about FI, is just saying it's how much a given matter links to your identity. So Rachel links deeply to my identity, more deeply than anybody, really. My daughter also links very deeply to my identity, links deeply, but but I have engagement with her a lot less frequently. So she's more deeply embedded in my long-term SI, but much less deeply embedded in my day-to-day SI. Now, the thing is, if you just look at the strength of the link in terms of regularity, just looking at SI, that's inadequate, because there's also this link in terms of preciousness to you as part of your identity, right? That's FI. So if you're going to do a full accounting of like logics of things that can be evaluated for correctness that don't involve any kind of action action component, right? Then you'd have to evaluate things against NE, NI, SI, TI, FI. You could ignore TE, SE, and FE, okay? If you're just evaluating things in terms of correctness that have no actual real world implications at all. Now, the thing about FI, of course, is you're considering real world implications to you, but if it's just an identity linkage, then we're not considering those as real world implications. So what I just explained right there is really wonderful. The point about that license plate is a great example to talk about how each cognitive function expresses regarding a single question. How each, will you guys stop talking about pimping my mom? She already has a pimp. It's me. I'm sorry, Katie. But did that sexualize you? Because, you know, you're my mom. Katie and I have a big secret that we've been keeping everybody. It's time for me to reveal it. K.E. is my mom, my biological mother. She's got this young person picture, but she's actually 76 years old. And my mother. The mom that died and I buried, that was my stepmom actually. K.E. is my real biological mother. But she and my dad got divorced. And then my dad married my mom when I was still pretty little. So, but you know, I also kept in touch with my biological mom, K.E. And we were pen pals. She'd write to me, "Dear Eric, my son, how are you today?" Don't forget to wash behind your ears. Uh-oh. I've just maternalized K.E. She doesn't like to be sexualized, but she didn't say anything about being maternalized. So I went ahead and maternalized her. Is that okay? How does it feel to be one of the motherly people? How does it feel to be one of the motherly people? That's why K.E. and I have so much in common. I also have curly hair, you know, Kay. That's how I know about the secret. It's true that I do have curly hair, at least wavy hair, when I get enough hair to have waves, you know. My problem was I just didn't generate enough man seed. Alright, can I be done watching you eat now? Please? This cat loves to make me watch him eat. So anyway, I believe I was saying earlier that I don't respect people's race. Okay? And I'm sorry because I don't believe in race. I respect people's blood type. Like, if I were going to give you a transfusion, I would respect the fact that it has to be the right type of blood for you. I'm willing to respect that. But I'm not willing to respect something make believe like your race. I'm sorry. I don't respect my race, your race, or anybody else's race. I think race is stupid. Which race do I think is most deserving of mistreatment? I think nobody has any race. That's my point. Nobody actually has a race, but people seem to think they do. I don't like that. And that's okay, you know? That's correct, even. Correct, even. Are you going to talk shit about fluidly transracial people like me, Money? Because I'm going to call bullshit on that. Okay, I believe in those kind of races, but I don't believe you conjugated the verb swim correctly. And I'm very disappointed in you. I'm going to get out my red pen. I have swim races. What? Circle that. No. Swim, swam, swum. I have swum. Just like squeezed, 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 squoze, squozing. I have swimming races? Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. You have swim races. Gotcha. Well, you should have hyphenated swim races then, Kay. Okay. All right. I'm gonna retract my red pen. I take it back. I erase my red pen. I have a bottle of whiteout. I put it around my red pen. Yes. I like my orange juice like my boobs, freshly squozen. Uh, and I point out a lot of people get this one wrong too. I blind people. I blinded people. I have blound people. Keep that one in mind, okay? It's an important one. The verb you use a lot, probably. You're actually at episode 21 of Journey to Love. Sounds like a long journey. I think it's freshly squozen because squozen is the past participle of squeeze, so it's modifying the verb. Ergo. Ergo, it's freshly squozen. Now, look, if it says fresh squozen juice or fresh juice, just squozen, then that would be fine. Otakus, rise and show yourselves. I am an otaku, but as such, I recognize that rising requires too much exertion. I do believe I need to rise and drive to the store in El Carraroo. I need to get more cigarettes. I should have still had Ruben get me cigarettes last night. I realized there's no reason for Ruben to get all this stuff at the store. Um, we were going to get at the store tomorrow for cheaper at the regular store. So I hadn't given me back my $100. But I should have said, wait, no, here, take this $100 back and get some cigarettes for me, please. But it's like, it was such a long time from when the inclination, the plan was launched that he was going to go to the store. It was such a long time from then to when he actually went to the store that at that point I just figured, well, we're just going to go to bed. I'll get up in the morning. I'll go to the store. So what's the big deal? But now I'm really regretting my decision. Oh, did you go to the regular store? Did you go to Oakhurst? It looks like you fixed that tire. Rukesha's still at our house? Yeah. And we are going to get, how you say, snowed in tomorrow. So I think when I come back today, you filled the freezer, huh? Well, that's very nice of you. Thank you. Apothecary Diaries is fantastic. The thing is, it's a little slow, like at the first bits of the arc, but it's got one of the most sophisticated story arcs I've ever seen in any show. The way that all these different, apparently disparate storylines that appear to conclude end up all making part of a larger storyline is really incredibly well written. I can't believe I couldn't believe what I was watching the last couple of episodes of the first season. It just started the second season right now. But if you find it a little bit slow maybe in the beginning, give it a little bit of time. It's not even really slow, but Apothecary Diaries is not a romance show at all. It's kind of like a pharmacist, a teenage pharmacist murder she wrote set in ancient China or Japan or something. I think China. But it's a wonderfully like nuanced storyline that does a bunch of interesting things. It's the only show on Crunchyroll that I can think of that's at 5 stars. Not 4.9, 5.0. Well, this is not the first pharmacist show I've watched. I've watched plenty of them as well, but this transcends that genre of pharmacist stuff, right? Apothecary, whatever. This show is just beautiful in all ways across the board. It's got a great main character. You know, it's just a beautifully told story about a very competent, smart TI3, maybe 4, probably 3 though. I mean, I'm TI2 probably. I mean, FI3, FE3 because she seems like an ESTP to me. And it could be, however, 4, maybe an ISTP. And like KE, the story of Apothecary Diaries is really the story of a girl trying to avoid being sexualized. She has to paint paint freckles on her face to look ugly, you know. And her desire and attempt to get a job and stay in the job at the palace links to the fact that her alternative ultimately will be prostitution, you know. So it's a pretty great story. She successfully avoids all that. My life is brilliant. My love is pure. Congratulations. I'm proud of you. Your life is brilliant and your love is pure, heroine. It makes me want to get a shirt that says, I don't respect your race. I wonder if I get a lot of pushback for that. Well, it doesn't matter what race you are. I don't respect your race. I think it's nonsense. I don't believe in race. I also don't believe in the big 5. So you might say, but I have very high openness. I say, I don't believe in that. I don't respect your big 5 score either. It's not measuring anything. I also don't respect your IQ score. And all of those things are equivalently correct on my part. I mean, it's most correct to not respect somebody's race, because race is the least real thing of all those things I mentioned. But the other things aren't real either. Not real enough to respect. I judge people by the quality of their character, not by the geometric shape of their race. If we're going to talk about race, let's talk about different races being different shapes. Like, okay, I don't like the triangle people. They're too pointy, and their points stab me a lot. I do like the circle people, because when I get in my way, I can just roll them down the hill, you know. The squares are fine, you just gotta walk around them. The rectangles, I mean, just, you need to be so long and narrow. Pentagons. Talk about an aggressive group of people. Those damn pentagons. I can't stand the pentagons. They're always spending money on fighter planes and stuff like that. What about the dodecahedrons? There aren't very many of them, but they're fucking awful. Hedrons. Get out of here, hedron. We don't want your kind around here. I'm not down with the dodecahedrons, you know? Eric was called Vato payaso before. Am I a crazy clown? I thought I was I was a little clowny. Vato payaso. Well, I am a clown. That's true. But at least I'm not a dodecahedron. Filthy dodecahedron. Fire up the ovens. Isn't that nice to hate people based on their geometric shape instead of some other equally arbitrary nonsense? Smells like something's on fire, kind of. Is something on fire? I don't know what that smells like, but maybe I'll turn this on. Right. Do you smell fire or something?
No, just weed.
Huh. Maybe it's just my nose hallucinating.
Well, I mean, last night when we were driving back, we saw a big fire on the way back, and that was pretty scary. I don't know if it was intentioned.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a controlled burn.
Okay, yeah. It doesn't look like it.
Because the conditions are good for a controlled burn right
Right.
now. Okay, well, I mean, I can't believe it would be a naturally occurring fire with all this snow and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to try to go to the store.
Right, good luck.
Thanks. So, before I go to the store, I'm going to give you guys the privileged enjoyment of watching me either succeed or fail to make it up to the road in the car. So you may see some slip sliding around or whatever. I'm going to put the phone there. If I make it up to the car, I'll just then park it up there on the street, walk back down, turn off the stream, get my phone, whatever. If I don't make it up to the street, then I will come back and put on chains on the car just to drive out of the driveway, which is like, oh, I gotta put on chains to go like 10 feet and then take them off again? Oh, that would be an unfortunate reality. But Ruben and Acacia were able to get out last night. I don't know how difficult that was for them. Difficult, easy, or something in between. It could have been difficult. The Lady and the Beast is also good. Not much romance, mostly politics and a main character. It's actually likable. Yeah, place your bets. I've failed twice to get out of this driveway before right now. So success seems less likely than failure. What I'm going to do now, though, before I do any of that, I do believe my butt is expressing what I like to call poop readiness. It's not poop urgency. It's not like, oh, it's going to fall out of my butt any second, which is how I like it to be, ideally. But I do believe there's some genuine poop readiness here. And the first step is to admit you have a problem. The second step is to determine if that problem is poop. If the answer is yes, proceed. If the answer is no, go to a different flow chart. Now, if your problem is poop, what you're going to want to do is check each cheek's poop readiness gauge, and that'll range from pulled all the way back up inside to just about to fall out of your butt. If it's in the green area, which says probably can poop with a little time/effort, then number one, check to see how soon you have to do something. If the answer is soon, try to poop now. Check number two. Can you spend a little bit more time walking around, trying to jiggle it down loose a bit more so that it's more near the about to fall out of your butt area of measurements? Well, if so, if you believe you're going to dedicate yourself to that purpose, then go ahead and attempt it briefly. But don't get distracted into doing something else. Then the poop's just as likely to go back up inside of you. So, in conclusion of this fairly long explanation, if you feel like you probably can poop right now, you should poop right now. But be aware of the fact that sometimes you're going to feel like you probably can poop right now. But when you sit down, you're going to realize your butt gauge was lying. Maybe you need to recalibrate your butt gauges. Could be a possibility. Or you could have allowed wishful thinking to make you misread your butt gauges. I think that's probably the most likely explanation in this case. Wishful pooping. That's what I call this trip to the bathroom. I made like one teeny little round turd, just like the size of your thumbnail. And just to be extra annoying, it's requiring multiple wipes just for that one little teeny turd. So, you'd call that a deeply, profoundly disappointing trip to the bathroom. How would you rate your bathroom experience, Mr. Strauss? Profoundly disappointing. Wow, that's bad. Yeah, it's about as bad as it can get, maitre d'. I'd like to have a maitre d' follow me around through life and just check to make sure everything's to my satisfaction. Basically just listen to me complain about things and clap his hands to make sure these things get fixed. Claps his hands and a bunch of people run over and clear away all the things on the table and replace them with different things. That's what it's like to have a maitre d' follow you around all the time. Oh, monsieur, we are most deeply sorry that your bathroom experience was profoundly disappointing. Yeah, I need new butt gauges. And people run over and replace my existing butt gauges with different butt gauges. His name is Francois, my maitre d'. I think I'll call to him more frequently now when I feel the need to complain about something. If something goes wrong in life, I'll just be like, Francois, what the fuck is up with this? Oh, monsieur, I'm so sorry, I cannot get your car out the driveway. And then people run over and put chains on my car. Thanks, Francois. Oh, it is not any problem at all, said monsieur. Okay. So you guys and Francois are all coming with me outside where we're going to attempt to just drive the car out of the driveway. Before we attempt to drive the car out of the driveway, we will need to acquire a couple of objects that will go with me in the car to the store for the purpose of either propelling the vehicle forward, actually just turning it on, these keys, or the purpose of buying stuff, this wallet. Now, according to Ruin, they did a full blast grocery shopping trip, which is very nice of them, but also makes it harder for me to know what to get a little bit. But I think what I'll do is I'll just get a bunch of stuff, but I won't get too much freezer stuff because they apparently fill the freezer pretty good. So I've got my wallet, I've got my keys, I've got an empty box of smokes. Jeez, that won't do any good. Got my face. Yes, okay. Got my thighs. Those are useful. Those will be useful. Both hands. I'll need those. I could leave my butt here since it doesn't want to poo. But, you know, if I leave it here and I really have to poo when I'm out, then who knows what would happen. I just guess I have to poo out of my mouth. Well, let's give it a shot, shall we? Are you guys ready for the exciting adventure? Keeping in mind that I have thus far already failed to crest this short hill of driveway twice before. Will I succeed on this occasion? Let's find out. Well, I'm obviously gonna have to put the chains on. I cannot successfully get out of the driveway. So anyway, I gotta put the chains on the car. Which means I'm going to need to get some gloves. I believe they go on the front tires. If I'm not mistaken. Well, that's kind of a pain in the ass. But such is life in the mountains. And if we don't go today to the store, then we may find ourselves snowed in for a while. So all right. Well, I kind of have to go to the store because I'm out of cigarettes. It's conceivable that I could find more cigarettes in a jacket or something someplace. If I could do that, then I could wait to go to the store until after Rachel gets up. She said she was going to get up at 11 today. That's not that long from now. She did get a good night's sleep last night, so that's good. I know because we slept together all night, unusually. All right, let me try places where cigarettes might be. There are none in here, are there? Well, this is extra pair of pants, a hat, some bait. Bait doesn't go in my backpack. Bait goes with the other fishing stuff. Oops. So I've got fishing stuff here from the other day. Rags. Here are gloves. And I need these gloves to put the chains on. Let me go put this fishing stuff in the garage with the other fishing stuff. I'll be right back. Okay, I got gloves. So, do I by chance have cigarettes in the pockets of these extra pants? No. Do I by chance have cigarettes in the pockets of this sweatshirt? No. This shirt and this shirt need to go in the wash because I believe they have cum on them. That needs to go in the wash. It's kind of a jacket of last hope right there. Come on, jacket of last hope. Pew. 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 No cigarettes. Well, I should just hang these jackets up. Like a regular human being. First you get a hanger, you put it like this. Then you hang your jacket over here. Next you get a hanger that looks like this. It's looking super swell and sheer. This one's a fancy pink hanger. It must be part of Rachel's wedding stuff, you know. When women get wedding stuff, they get all this fancy one-use stuff, you know. It's just part of the tradition. You might think, that's a big waste of money. But it's not a big waste of money if your wife is made very happy by something, you know? And the whole idea of getting married really is to say, I love you so much that I want to, you know, make your wedding dream come true as much as possible. Because chicks tend to have like a wedding dream, kind of. Someday I'll get married and we'll have a beautiful wedding. And there will be flowers and I'll have a wonderful dress. And oh, it's gonna be wonderful. And I'll kiss my husband and I love him so much. And girls tend to think about stuff like that a lot. At least a lot more than I did. Or ever did. I didn't really spend a lot of time like imagining how my wedding day was gonna be. I don't think I ever thought about it at all, to be honest. But anyway, I'd like to think that Rachel had a great wedding. I mean, I did too, of course, but you know, weddings are for the girl. That's the thing about weddings. If you think weddings are for both people, you don't understand weddings. I could hang this up too. Oh, wait, these are pants. Pants aren't for hanging up. I mean, you could hang up pants, I guess. It wouldn't be the first time in my life that I hung up pants. But if I hang these pants up here, they're probably stuck up here forever because I normally don't hang up pants. So if I put them at the front of the line, then I'll see them every time. There. That's good. I did a good job of cleaning up those things. But I did a poor job of finding cigarettes, which was my number one job, of course. Well, what about over here, you might ask? Eric, can you find any cigarettes over here? These socks aren't cigarettes, nor are they likely to have cigarettes on them. And all the rest stuff is Rachel's stuff, which she's moved down here while Ruben and Acacia are here so that they can have, I guess because she uses the bathroom down here now while they're here, so she has her clothes near the bathroom. That would explain that. Oh, I don't need to go into the garage. I guess for a moment there, I thought I was living in Temple City. In Temple City, the washer and dryer were in the garage. In Arcadia, the washer and dryer were more or less in the kitchen. In Mariposa, the washer and dryer are blessedly right where they belong, in the laundry room. Listen, I don't want to wait for my life to be over before I do this laundry here. I don't normally do laundry, but I don't object to doing laundry. It's an easy thing to do if you don't include the last step, folding it and putting it away. Don't eat these, okay? Apparently there's a problem with people eating those. I don't know why either. Cold, cold. Why not hot, cold? There. All right, well, let's go to the last desperate place of last resort for cigarettes. That's right. Railing butts. Railing butts have a tendency to be kind of like a little wet and gross. But you know, they're better than not smoking, I guess. That dog. Go away, Mr. Dog. With your barkings. Nobody likes them. Least of all me. Well, at 9:20. It's 9:20, so it's as good a time as any to put on some chains. I still need to get gloves, you know. I got them, but I don't think I brought them with me. How many people here have ever watched a man put chains on his car? You might think it sounds boring, but do you really know it's boring because you ever watched it before? Maybe it's super exciting. You don't even know what kind of chains I have. The kind of chains I have could be exploding chains. That would be exciting. we could encounter a Sasquatch while I'm putting chains on the car. Sasquatches are known to be attracted to people bending over and putting chains on things. They mistake them for a female Sasquatch preparing herself to be mated. That's how a lot of Sasquatch encounters go wrong. A lot of times afterwards, there'll be Sasquatch saying to the police officer, "Human led Sasquatch on." Okay. Chains, huh? Shut the fuck up, dog. Oh my god, that dog's annoying. Nice, blessedly, I do not hear it at all inside, but sometimes it's nice to go outside without encountering dog problems. So with Ruben going to the store and buying a bunch of shit, I don't know what to get anymore. Well, I definitely need more paper towels. Get a bunch of paper towels. And, there are actually, there's bath tissues. I need paper towels, probably need more toilet paper. I probably need ketchup. Oh, I need cat litter, ketchup, cat food, salami. What are the cheeses? Here are my Gloveroos. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lord. Why do I gotta do this? Ruben's car is more successful in snow than mine, obviously, or Acacia's car. I think it might have to do with the fact that when they left last night, they had a flat tire on the back. They simply filled it up there, it appears. That might have been on the other side, I'm not sure. All right, so putting chains on the car. I guess I'll back it up a little bit further, closer to here. And I'll try to straighten the tires out too. Do that first. Okay. All right. Okay, so hopefully I remember how to do this. Let's go over here and look. Careful there, it's slippery. Okay, here. That's probably going to be a problem, that piece right there. There. Get that off. There, that's probably good enough. Tire side. Okay. What is this attached to? Over there, huh? Well, I got little choice between kneeling and snow. Do that or do this. Okay, maybe I can keep one knee kind of dry. Okay. Let me try pulling the car forward a smidge. Okay. all. I thought, oh, maybe it'll stay on long enough for me to get up the hill, but it didn't stay on at all. I mean, I knew I didn't have it connected in the back. You have to connect this one and this one, right? But what I should have done is connected these first. I did it backwards. But anyway, then I just made it up the hill, so fuck it. That's called the easiest way to get your chains on and off is to not put them on correctly. Try it anyway, and then have them fall off, but succeed anyway. That's it. Classic Eric special right there. Whew! Actually, this doesn't normally work like that for me at all. In this case, it did. So, good for me. Now I'm going to leave those chains right there because I don't want to pack them up because the car's up there and I'm going to have to put them on again later anyway. So let me just turn off the stream. I guess I'm ready to go besides that. I just should get my glasses. All right. I'm off to see the wizard. The wonderful Wizard of Pooh. Goodbye. I love you. Good night.